it's really important that you lock the feet, and the reason it's really important you lock the feet is because as they are unlocked, they are not underneath the actual bar, so they're not holding weight. Okay? They're not directly underneath. You see that? When I lock it, the wheel moves and it actually goes directly underneath the pole. You see that?
Yes.
Show you again. Not underneath the pole, so the wheel's behind it like that. Then when it goes under, it switches underneath. So, okay, this one, that is the reason that this tower is not designed to be moved with people on it, as Adam just said. Alright? It's quite a straightforward principle. If you've got something there and something's pushing down here, it can go over. If it's pushing right down the middle, it's supported, yeah? Does that make sense? Yes. Alright, so then we've got our two outriggers. Now, here's the first bit of maths for today. When you're using access equipment, the general rule is this. You can go 3.5 times the shortest base, the shortest length of the base. Okay? So, you've got that distance times 1, 2, 3.5, and that's kind of the height you can go to. Alright? Obviously, the wider these outriggers go, the more stable that's going to be. So, when we're doing this, we're actually going to take away the structural integrity of the actual frame. So we're going to be getting this leg out. So once that's off, we've halved the strength of it going this way. So we don't put that up first, the outriggers have got to come out first. Because as soon as I take this off, yeah, that could come towards anything, yeah, towards us. So we're just going to lift that out. And when you put this back on, you absolutely must make sure it clicks into place. Because that click is the lock mechanism. That stops it from being able to move. If it's not clicked, that can come off. If you've done it on both sides and they're not attached, that's probably not very good, because it means that the whole of this direction in terms of force is on these poles instead of these stopping it going. Okay, with these parts, and this is a bit that is a health and safety hazard that I've seen people get wrong, and it is dangerous, and I've seen it go wrong on people before. You'd never have both undone at the same time. Yeah, because if you do, it can fall because you haven't got enough hands. Okay, so if I've got this undone now, if the top was loose, in order for me to put this on, I've got to kind of move my hand. That then slides down, and potentially I drop it, and if this drops off here, it's going to be almost directly over where my toes are. Yeah? Fortunately in this case I've got steel toe caps on. But that's our policy. Again, you might work in a venue where they don't require you to do that, so they haven't reminded you to do it. And so you go in, and if you take them both off, and it lands on your toe, that's a nice trip to hospital for you. Okay, and if you're a freelance technician, if you're working somewhere else next week, you ain't going to be, and that's your money. Right? Boom, boom. They're both now secure. How tight?
Finger tight.
Finger tight. Why finger tight?
So you can undo them again.
Yep, so the next person undo them. Why else? So just help them out. Saves time. Help them out. Okay, if you keep tightening this, it's like a vice. This is an empty tube. What happens to a Coke can if you do that hard enough?
Squish it.
It's going to squish. What happens? Has anybody ever done the Coke can standing on a Coke can thing? Yeah. What's the trick? It's a bit mean, but go on.
It just squishes down.
Okay, what happens if you haven't got any, if it's perfect Coke can? You can actually stand on a Coke can. Anyone done that?
Big health and safety risk on that,
Okay,
surely.
you can stand on a Coke can, because have you done it? Yeah. Okay, you can stand on a Coke can, it will hold your weight. And the old joke was, you get somebody to stand on it, and while they're on it, you just kick the side of the Coke can, only gently touch it, and as soon as it's got a little dent on it, it crushes. Yeah? That's why if you squeeze it a little bit first, it's easier to squish. Yeah? And that's the same principle. You will cause structural damage to the equipment if you over tighten. Down here you've got a pin with a brass spring. Okay, that just slides down, and then when it gets away to the floor, pull it back up to the next one. That will give you the height that it needs to be when you're going to move the tower. And then just drop it down. All you're going to do is control it from here now when it's set up. If I'm going to move it, I just need to lift it up from the top. Don't need to worry about the bottom one at all. That's awkward. I've got to bend down and do all weird stuff like that. Just up here, down, up. It's very straightforward. And that's more than enough to move the tower. In fact, that's enough to move the tower. It only has to be off the floor. Yeah? So
when you move your brakes, that's almost enough at times. When you move your brakes, it's getting off the floor.
I don't want to see this. It doesn't need to be like that at all. Okay, you're moving it around. If it falls over, it's going to go more like that than if you're at there, because then it can only go and then fall back onto its wheels. All right, exactly the same with the other side. Just to get that absolutely certain, we're only going to touch one of these at a time. So I'm going to move it round, find its finger tight, under the bottom, flip it over, down here, close, back to finger tight. Turn the clip. Okay. As it is at the moment, the shortest base is this one, isn't it? Here to here. Okay? In that sense, that's the 3.5 times that you can go up, which is quite a lot actually, because it's nearly 2 metres. So you're talking about 6 metres high, and we don't need anywhere near that for working height. Okay? Next part, at the moment it is set up with the chain, so you can't do it. Okay? So at this point, you go, Martin, I need to get this up, we need to use it. And I'll come in. And we have a look. And we're going to run a visual inspection. I'm going to check to make sure the poles are not dented in any way. Okay, they're not, which is good. It means people have been using finger tight. And then we're okay to get going. Leave the chain on the tower so we don't lose it. Okay. Now we're ready to go, so all we're going to do is we're going to come round to this side and very gently, because you know how well balanced, you've all had a go at this before, you know how well balanced it is, just very gently push it down. When it gets in, you need to make sure that those two locks are locked. Okay? They should drop in automatically. If they don't, make sure they do. Okay? Not the brass ones, the big pointy ones. Not those. They will not hold the weight. They are there as a double security. Okay? Everybody happy with that so far? If you need to go higher, you come round to this side where the rope is and pull on the rope until you reach the height you want. If it's the wrong height when you go up there, come back down and adjust it. Don't make do. Okay? If you want to come down with it, just pull it up over the so the cap can come up and then lower it down. Pretty straightforward. Okay, any questions? What do you do to climb it? What's the technique we use? 3 points of contact at all times. Okay, we're not going to do that exercise now because we're concentrating on how it goes up and down, making sure you've got that process. Okay, the last thing we need to check before we climb, and I would recommend that as a good practice, everybody who's about to climb it checks them. Are these on? Yes, they are. Brilliant. In the middle was a spirit level. It's a circle, there's a circle in the middle and a bubble in it. The bubble needs to be in the little circle. If the bubble is not in the little circle, it means that it's not straight. And if it's not straight, just like anything, you know, it's going to fall over potentially because the weight's not going to be over the centre. Alright? If it isn't in the centre of that, even if you've just moved it, because it might be in the centre here, but you move it over there and it's not, because a lot of the times, especially in theatres where there's a rape stage or things like that, things can change. If it isn't in the right place, it can be adjusted using these leg screws. If you need that to happen, can you come and get me and I will do that. Okay? Just to make sure, because I'd rather be safe than sorry. Alright? So that's that one. Now just to take it down, it's pretty much everything in reverse. Okay? The big clue here is all the writing regarding bringing it up and bringing it down is on this side of the tallescope. Okay? You need to unlock these clips. 1, 2, and you rest them on top. That's it. You want to have a break? Just have a breather, and then simply come in and press these down. They pull up the brass clips and the other clips and allow you to move it freely. Okay? And then you adjust it, just supporting it all the way back down. Okay? Nice and gently. Everyone happy with that? Good. Okay, same thing again with these.
Does the chain go on straight away after this?
I will have to put the chain on because I've got the key, so you can't put it down there either. And then the same thing with these outriggers. And the chain will need to go on when it goes away. Okay? So when we're not using it, so if we go for a break, or we go out, or we've got another class to go to somewhere else, etc., etc., or if I have another class to go to, the chain has to go on. Okay? So basically, if Richard or I are not in the room, the chain's on. Because if there's an accident now with it, we're now responsible because we're the key holders. Okay? Unless obviously somebody's cut the chain. And no, don't cut the chain.
Mega things. Great big kit. A bit shiny. You could probably, but I've never tried it.
Okay, then we can, now it's down, we can unlock the feet. We're good to go. And then it can go away with the chain. Any questions on any of that? You okay? Great. Can you stop recording there?